Hey, so searching YouTube, I didn't find much at all for rolling in rod bearings into a JK with a 3.8 in it. So this is just a quick movie about specifically rolling in bearings, rod bearings into a JK 3.8. I noticed on cold starts in the morning, it was knocking in the low end. It's a different sound than like valve train noise. And so before it spun a bearing or did something catastrophic, I wanted to put some bearings in it. So this is just me doing a driveway sort of ghetto attack on this thing. It's my understanding that there are different types of rods in the 3.8. There are rods with forged caps and rods with broken caps. That's where they make the whole rod and then they literally break it so the mating surfaces are like broken metal. They're jagged, but they fit together exactly right. So this one has the broken caps in it, and yeah, that's about it. So hopefully this will help you if you want to roll in bearings and keep that 3.8 motor going, which is not a great motor, but hey, it's what's in there. So hopefully this will help you specifically roll those in. I'm not doing a lot of the step-by-step stuff. This is more about just the bearings themselves and rolling those in.
Okay, so the pan came off, and then that's got to come off right there, and then the spacer comes off, which allows you to get the pump straw out, and then there you go. There's the lower end. And right now we can feel a couple of them are not awesome. Alright, I rolled in all of these. They're not torqued. I'll torque them all at the end. I have front two here. I broke them loose, so I wanted to show you some. Talking to my dad, Chevys and such, the cap has to go back on. These do too. The cap has to go back on the same side. You can't flip it around. This side has to go here and that side has to go there. They are marked, but on this motor you don't have to worry about marking them, because they, as you'll see, they can't go any other way. I'll show you here. Okay, there's the bolts. Now watch. This cap, I'll just pull away. Okay, there's the cap. Now, what I mean is, you can see on one end, I'll get out and get a better video, is the locator. And if you look, right there's the locator. The locators go with each other. You can see this crank is not bad. It was locking or knocking, and 2 to 3 of them had play in them, which is why I'm doing this. And yes, I heard it, but they don't look bad. So let me get out and show you this cap. New one, and you can see here's the cap. Usually when you're talking about rolling the crank, but also you gotta roll these in or out. See, what they mean by that is going like this, right? I'll show you how to roll or get the upper cap in, upper shell, bearing shell. See, this one doesn't look bad at all. I'll show you some. We'll go over the caps at the end, all the shells, and look at them. You want to make sure that you're clean and inspect things. If your crank is scored or something, you're toast. That's why I'm doing preventative maintenance here, but rather than destroying my engine and then having to pull the whole engine and rework the whole damn thing. These are notorious for spinning them, and you don't want to do that. So you don't have to roll them in, but you do want to make sure your fingers are awesome. My fingers are clean. You want to make sure this bad boy is clean. I would do a better job of it, but I'm one-handed it here to show you. I'll probably pull this one apart again and just make sure it's real clean. But with this, you can simply, I like to find the locator on one end here, like that, and then press it down in and it will click, keeping the locator up. Like that, you can see from the side. Maybe like this. There, sit down in there. Now, you can see on this side, it's up. What you do is use your fingers and smash them together and make sure both ends are down. Like that. And then, before you put the cap back to get back on, put some that's a grease specific to put some grease on this surface, not on the back surface, because then you end up trying to press grease out, and it doesn't work very well. So they are all the same. There's no, on the cap, there's no oil inlet here. You'll see on the when I get under there and show you the top, you'll see the oil inlet. So there it is, there's the locator, and that goes on the same side as the locator on the upper half. Okay, for the upper, the rod side, come on camera, you can do it. There you go. You can see the connecting rod is still against the crank. So what you have to do is roll the crank back away from the piston. See, the bearing is coming out already with no issues. Because you got to give yourself room. Okay, there. See, the crank is on this side of the engine so that you can watch this, it rolls right out of there. These uppers were much worse. Let's see if you can see one. We'll show them all later. That one is a good one. Doesn't look bad at all. I'll show you all of them and why we do it. The piston now, see, it doesn't want to, can't swing away. And you want to be careful your crank not to score it. It won't swing away. So on these 3/6s, these little toy motors, push on both sides and the piston, see how it went up? It won't quite swing away. There it goes. Now it should. Well, why? So this is good. I haven't, there it goes. There it swung, see it? Now, you got to clean this surface on the rod. You can just see the oiler, the oil hole there in the center of the rod, and the bearing has a hole through it to allow the oil to come in and oil the bearing. So now you can press that bearing up there, and I'll show you that because I got to use two hands. Use two hands and do the same thing. Locate it on the left side there, press it in, and then use two fingers on both sides to make sure it's seated and flush on both sides. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, cleaned it and pressed it up. You can see on both sides it's flush, and the locator is on the in the locator, and you see the center oil inlet, and I don't think you could get it wrong, but if you get the wrong bearing, that would be catastrophic. That oil's got to come through that hole to oil your bearing, or it won't take but probably a few minutes, and you'll destroy your engine. Okay, let me see. Engine assembly lube. Everything likes to be lubed before you beat on it, you know what I'm saying? Alright, we'll see if I can do this here for you. I didn't find much for JK bearings, and they are notorious for being trash. You can see that the crank looks pretty darn good. No scoring or nothing. I don't know if I can do this with one hand or not. So let me just kind of show you. You'll swing this back over and hold it there, and then roll the crank back around the opposite way till it meets with the piston, and then you can put the cap back on. I'm gonna have to do that. So you hold this over there and roll the crank into it, and it'll slowly move over, and you keep moving it over, and then it will seat, and then you can put the cap on. Okay, so you should be able to see it focuses to the top of the screen is the locator on the bearing. Okay, and on the cap you've got the locator on the right side. So the locator goes with the locator. You can put your cap up in there. And it goes together just like that. And then, like I said, I'm not torquing them yet. Don't forget to torque them, or you probably only get about 5 minutes of run time out of your new bearings. Down and finger tight. There is that one. You can see here, clunk, 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 clunk. That's side to side, which isn't too horrible. What you're looking for is play this way or up and down. You can't really test up and down very easily. You can from in other tests, but when you already got it open, you want to test this way. My bearings were not horrible. I didn't have anyone spun or anything, but when you see the wear, you'll see why I did them, and the first fire up will tell us if you know, if the knocking's all gone, right? So there, I've got one more to do here, and then we'll probably do show you the wear on the rod bearings, etc. before I do main bearings. Well, main bearing 1, main bearing 2, and main bearing 3. Main bearing 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have them all here, but I wanted to show you. On the left there, you can see. Now these aren't bad from what I've seen. You know, I don't do a ton of motors, but you can see towards the left are typical compression caps, right? On your compression stroke, not compression stroke, on your power stroke, the top caps down here, you can see at the oil inlet, you can see it's gone, and that's one thing. But the knocking comes from wear on them. They're actually smaller by, you know, thousands, but it's enough that you get hammering on them, and then, you know, it's like a snowball rolling downhill. If you don't get these taken care of, then boom, that's when you spin a bearing or something, because they get loose in there, and they won't stay seated, and they'll just spin right around the crank, tear up the crank, score it, whatever. And towards the right is typically lowers, and then also I noticed that the scoring, or not the scoring, but the pitting where it's gone, those are towards the back of the motor, probably where it's got more heat to it.